Hey everybody, Dan from Sci-Fi Models and Stuff here with the third video in our Hellboy Resin Bust series. This is going to be the final part of the video and it's going to show you how to paint Hellboy's jacket realistically in this 1/3 scale. If you haven't already seen the first two videos where we talk about the skin and his undershirt and right hand of doom, definitely check those out. And as always, if you like this, feel free to like and subscribe. You can also check us out on Instagram at Sci-Fi Models and Stuff. All right, thanks for watching. We're going to start with a dark brown to meet XF10 and slowly work our way to kind of a buff tan color. Okay, so unfortunately, the top-down camera setup isn't going to work for painting these large areas just because I need something to rest it on. So we're going to have to change camera angles and we're going to have to do it this way. But that's okay. So I got my base coats and my lowest colors done with the XF10. I am going to add a little black in some of these areas and really darken that up. But next is our next coat of brown, or our next color, which is Tamiya XF64. I think that's red brown. Very similar to XF10, just a little bit more red tones and a little bit lighter. And you might notice a little overspray here on the black. That's okay, that's easy to touch up at the end. I do want to make sure we're keeping all overspray off the skin, so I'm going to be very careful with that. So what we basically did there was pre-shade it, just like you would aircraft. That's going to show us the low lights and where the shadows are going to be. Right now I mixed up a little black brown. I'm going to spray paint the bottom here. Now for the next layer we're using Tamiya XF59, I think it's desert yellow. That's going to be our main base coat for everything. Then we'll do some highlighting and further shadows on that. Okay, and that was a pretty successful base coat. You can see there, starting to look like a jacket. Now keep in mind the collar and some of the belts and straps are going to be repainted with darker leather colors, so not really hitting those at the moment. Things back there are a little bit splotchy. I kind of like that and looks a little more natural, but we will tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so the last thing we have for the main colors on the coat is the highlights. And the highlights for this, we're going to be using AK Real colors. This color here, I believe it's Kirk Tan. I'm not quite sure what that is, so I bought it. Seems like a nice color. No idea what that color name is referring to. So for the highlights, we got that color mixed up, and we're just going to focus on the areas that would catch the light, that sort of thing. So here we go. A little bit difficult to see on camera, but looks really nice in person. So looking at the reference images, this portion of the collar is a very dark brown, almost like a chocolate. So I mixed up some paint and I'm going to paint that. I've masked the rest of the body to make sure that we're not going to get paint anywhere we don't want to get. With the back, where the hair meets that collar, that's okay. A little bit of overspray is fine because, again, when we painted that black originally, That was just to kind of see the skin tones. So we are going to go back later and completely redo the black. Okay, that came out great on the collar, so the last thing we're going to do is get these belts here. There's 1, 2 there. So we're going to mask those off and paint them in kind of a leathery brown. Okay, so we got these belts painted, these straps here. Looks like we're going to have to go back in a little bit later with a brush. We're also going to be doing some oil washes and stuff. So the last thing before we're ready to go to the finishing stages in the hair is this little scuff here and fixing some of the overspray there. So really pretty simple. I'm going to sand this down just a little bit, respray it with that dark brown and gray mix. Same thing with the inside of the coat. Then we'll blend that out a little bit more. Oh, and one other thing we forgot is this, the BPRD logo on his sleeve. We still got to get that. Looking at some reference images, it seems to be kind of like a light brown. So I'm going to use this, which is kind of a orangey brown, and that should be pretty good. Okay, got that taken off, and that's pretty good. It's pretty accurate to the movie. So with that, we can attach his arm like so, and there we go. All the colors are blocked out. So I would say right now we're maybe halfway done, maybe a little more, maybe 60 or 70%, but still a lot of work to do. Of course, we got to paint these buckles, we got to touch up some of the belts, we need to touch up some of these areas here, we got to do the hair, we got to touch up the ears. We're going to do some oil weathering and oil washes on some of the details of the jacket, and same thing with the buckles, of course. Going to do a wash on the BRPD seal, and that's about it. So I'm going to let this dry for now, and we'll come back in a few. Okay, so while we were waiting to dry, I just painted that goatee very quickly. Just did that freehand airbrush, just like we did the rest of the hair. So we are now on the final step of touch-ups and oil washes, pastels, finishing coats. So my plan for this is to start at the top and work our way down. Particularly with the red skin is where we're going to start. So first off, around the horns, we're going to darken those up. We're going to put a dark brown oil wash on that. And we'll probably follow that wash down into some of the cracks, maybe around the lips, hairline, etc. From there, we're going to paint the hair. And we're going to start that out with a base coat of black and then slowly work some shades up and give it some variation. Then we'll do some touch-ups and oils on the coat. Then we'll do down here, the buckles, all that, and we'll end up on the shirt. So here we go. So I just applied a brown oil wash to almost the whole model. All the seams, parts of the jacket, and it's really starting to look good. So we are going to let that dry for now. Probably going to let it dry overnight, and see you back tomorrow. So the oils have all dried overnight. We're almost done here. Got to do a few cleanups over here. Just a few more touch-ups. But overall, it's looking really good.